Welcome in this new video where we're going to talk about the M-Files Hubshare extension widget configured as Explorer. Let's start with an overview of the Explorer mode features. Optional means that the features can be enabled or not. Not at the time of this video. When an option is activated, then it is for all the content displayed in the widget. For instance, if we enable the possibility to replace a document, then all documents shared through that widget will be replaceable. If only part of them should be replaceable, then a second widget will be necessary. We will improve the widget to break this limitation. Let's go. Prior to make any settings into Hubshare, it is important to know the vault we are about to use. In anticipation of the video on the M-Files plugin for Hubshare, we will only share documents belonging to the CBH International Hub, whose Shared in Hubshare property is set as Yes. It is necessary to note that the Hub object has an important property that contains the Hub unique identifier, which can be retrieved from the URL. Since we know the context, let's create our first extension content widget. M-Files is the only DMS supported by the widget for now. In this tab, we can see the different modes. Finally, we have to select the vault, no choice in my case. In the Configuration tab, we have to select the type of M-Files object that we want to make accessible via the widget. Let's disable the option for now. In a minute, we're going to see that if we do not define any filter in the Metadata Query tab, then all the objects corresponding to the object selected in the Configuration tab will be displayed. In our case, all documents. Of course, that's not what we want to do. Let's fix that. The Explorer is nothing more than a view. We just have to define filters to get the expected content. You remember that we want to see documents where the property Share in Hubshare is set as Yes. Of course, only those related to the CBH International Hub. We could use the name or title property, but I will not present that option as it is not a good practice. So let's use the Hub ID instead. Excellent! Exactly what we expected to see. The sixth shared document of CBH International. As you've seen, the configuration is extremely simple. Let's improve what we did, as we don't want to have to enter the Hub ID every time. Let's use the prefill function. You understand that as is, the filters could be used in a Hub template. Now, let's see what type of action can be performed in this widget. In fact, we can only preview and search. Note that the widget searches in the name of the document, of course, but also in the content and in the shared metadata. We're going to see that later. For info, we can only sort content by name, creation or update date time. It is possible to define the default sort. Optionally, we can allow downloading and printing. Again, Once enabled, the option will be applied to all content into the widget. Another option is to allow viewing metadata. Let's share the workflow state. As before, we must edit the widget to activate the option, which brings up a new tab where we must select the metadata we want to see and for which class or object. As you can see, I selected the entire document object. Then, the result is regardless of the document class. As long as it is a document object, the workflow status will be displayed. How do I share the workflow state of a specific class, such as contract and agreement? Easy. Let's remove what we did and select the class rather than the object. Once again, it is exactly the expected result. Now that we know how to share metadata, let's see how to allow Hubshare users to modify the value. Let's see what happens if we only tick the box. From M5, as you can see, there are only two values. But from Hubshare, that's not good. We can see all the possible value of the workflow states in the vault. Let's fix that. When there is an hierarchical link between two value lists, the following syntax can be used. Perfect so far. It is possible to order the metadata displayed as a metadata card and those displayed as a column. Note that there is no link with the sorting, which is limited to the name, creation and update date and time. Let's reorder the metadata in the metadata card and those displayed as a column. Another option in the widget is to allow file versioning, which means that an existing document could be replaced by a new version from that widget. As we can see, versioning is independent of uploading. We can only allow users to overwrite an existing document, but not create a new one. As Hubshare user, I'm going to download the document to edit it. Let's correct the mistake I did in the zip code and replace the previous version by this one, thanks to the drag and drop. Note that it is also possible to use the optional menu. Hubshare will automatically expose the latest version of the document. However, in M-Files, you still have access to the history, of course. The next option is to allow upload. As you know, with M-Files, it is not where, but what. So once enabled, a new tab appears to define what metadata will be assigned to the uploaded document. So let's reuse the same filter than previously to attach document to the hub and make it visible into the widget once uploaded. Let's try and see what happens. A new document is displayed on the top of the list, thanks to the default sort. But the name is not the expected one. The reason is the class. In my case, this class renames the documents. But why did Hubshare use this class? We use the document class with ID 1 if the class is not specified in the widget. So let's fix that. By the way, a good practice is to create a dedicated class for document uploaded through Hubshare. In this case, let's use external upload class. Let's do a new test and see what happens. Excellent. The document is uploaded as expected with the original name. And as we can see, it is saved in M-Files with the expected properties. Sometimes you may need to ask the user to fill in the property value. Hubshare supports that too. In fact, you just have to select the property and click into the pen icon. Now, for each document to be uploaded, a pop-up window with the properties asking for value will appear. In this widget, we cannot force the user to fill the values. Of course, if this property was mandatory in M-Files, the document couldn't be saved without this value. Once again, it is a success, as you can see. Another point I would like to introduce with the Add Files button is the ability to bulk upload. Note that the widget will consider each file as a separate document. Now, what about the multi-file? It is possible to add a document in an existing multi-file with a simple drag and drop, or by using the Add Files button once in the multi-file. Good. Let's see now what happens if I try to re-upload the same document. Options on the screen are dynamic. The possibility of replacing the existing files only appears if the versioning option is activated in the widget. Let's finish with the annotations. Annotations can only be saved in M-Files if the option Allow Upload is active. Hubshare will convert non-PDF documents as PDF prior to be saved in M-Files as a new document using the filters defined in the Upload Filter tab. This is the reason why Hubshare shows the pop-up to enter the description. And you understand that in my case, the PDF will be saved as an external upload class. Each time a new annotation is saved, a new PDF document will be created in M-Files. It is possible to define the extensions allowed to be uploaded to M-Files via the widget. You understand that in this case only PDF will be allowed.